for our music majors. We're going to start. All right, so we're going to start a new project. So I'm going to go new project, of course, using Unity 6, not no 6.2 nonsense. Name of the project, I don't know. This is going to be weeks 3 through who knows what, maybe 5. We might use this for a bit. Weeks 3 through 5. Game something, I don't know. And then put your initials on it, just in case. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and use the core SRP Universal 3D here. So this is going to be a step up from the built-in that we started with. It's going to come with some extra goodies that we can get into later. But it does have just a little bit of niceness right out of the gate that we didn't have before. Yeah, yeah, it's basically URP. SRP means, and that's what HD and URP are both SRP, which is a scriptable render pipeline. So they're all customizable. The URP means that here's a scriptable pipeline that they pre-built for us and it's supposed to be universal, but you can still go in and edit it and everything else. So that's what all the RPs mean. Sure, that sounds like fun. All right, well, that's loading. We should get a cool input out of the gate where it's going to try to use both. So if I throw this using Input Manager, throw this code in there, it should just work. We shouldn't have to switch anything around. So we're going to build first our own first-person controller. Very basic. Very dumb. Not even as cool as the one we used last time because it doesn't have sound effects yet. But we can build it from scratch and it sort of kind of works. So we're going to do that. The other thing we're going to do this week, Unity 6 is still loading. Fantastic. The other thing we're going to do is after we build our basic one, there's a few different tutorials that we found for building other first-person controllers. Some of these are also basic. Some of these use completely different styles. So we want, what we're going to be using is a rigid body controller. So we want him to have physics. Some that we're going to find use this character controller, which doesn't even use physics. It's like a different way of doing it. We don't want that for now. But this guy right here, is this the Dave? Yes. Yep. she's aware. I think this is the one. You can go through this. We need to do just the basics. But after that, there's another like bunch of videos in this playlist, and you can pretty much make like a Mirror's Edge style controller by the time you're done if you want to follow all this. So wall running and flipping and all the craziness. I've had students in the past go through that and end up with kind of a Mirror's Edge style for their final, and it was just fun to play. So if you want to get into that, you can. Or after this week, so we're gonna build 2 this week, but after this week you can go back to using other things, or we'll make some different custom ones. Oh, I thought it was done. It's not. It is sort of, but
so if you're creating a first-person game,
hey, not yet. Thanks though. Okay. I don't even want to know. All right, we'll just start there. So let's go ahead and, is it done? It is done. Okay, it finally loaded. So first thing I'm going to do, so I've got my sample scene. It comes with the main camera, a directional light, and now it comes with a global volume. We'll play with that stuff later, but it does make things look kind of cooler. It can just sit there. You don't even need to worry about him. So I can just hit this guy here, and he won't even be selectable now unless I select him from the hierarchy. So we're just going to leave that guy alone, and we might notice that it does make things look a little bit better as far as light and shadow and things. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just game object, 3D object. I'm going to add in a plane. It's going to take a minute. There we go. Lock this guy. We're going to scale him up to, like, I don't know, 20. We just want a floor to play on so that we can test our controller. So just a plane. He's at 0, 0, 0. Everything's cool there. I'm going to make let me do this first. So first I'm going to save as, because having something named sample scene is just lame. So we're going to call this level 1 or something. Okay. And I'm going to get game object, 3D object. I'm going to drop in a capsule. We're going to leave him at his standard measurements. So he's basically a meter wide and 2 meters tall. Taller than your average, humanoid. Maybe like Master Chief height, something like that. He's 2 meters. Go with it. All right. So we've got this capsule guy. We'll go ahead and name him player. We'll even, while we're here, because we're going to need this later, we're going to tag him player. He's already got a capsule collider on him. I'm going to go ahead and add a rigid body. Come back and add more stuff later. I'm going to come down here to my assets window, or my project window where I'm looking at assets, and go ahead and create a new folder. First thing we need is scripts. So I've got a scripts folder, right click in there. I'm going to create a new mono behavior script called player, movement, player controller, something along those lines. And then select the player, and I'm going to go ahead and add that to him. So I can do it this way. I can say, add component and start looking for it. So player movement, or I can just drag this guy onto him. There it is. So it's on him. There's our empty script called player movement. Sweet, we're done. Take a break. No, we're not. Ian was like, dude, I'm out. He's ready to go. All right, once again, because I don't want to stand here and type everything out, I'm just going to copy paste. But we'll step through it and talk about what all this stuff does. So player movement, I'm going to grab all this jazz. And just slam it in there. All right. So we talked about, last week, the week before, no, just last week. The week before we didn't do any scripting. Private versus public, right? So private variable can only be seen by this script. Public can be seen by everything else in your project. And so anything that's exposed can be changed by other scripts. This is a different way of doing it, but does the same thing. So if I don't put private or public, either one, it's private. So if I just say rigid body RB, this rigid body, whose name is RB, can only be seen inside player movement. So shorthand, it's private. And then again, this one I think we did talk about last week. This serialized field is the best of both worlds. So this means it's exposed to the inspector, but it's not public where other scripts could access this walk speed. So I can't have an enemy that when I run into him, the enemy says, oh, make the player slower, because we haven't exposed walk speed to him. We've just exposed walk speed to the inspector. Make sense? Pretend it does. Smile and wave. All right, good job. All right, So we've got a rigid body, we've got move input, and again, this is going to be using the input manager. We'll get into input system later. We've got a float for character speed. We could expose that in the inspector, but we've got some stuff in here to that's different. So here it is, what we've got exposed in the inspector. We've got a walk speed and a run speed. So these are two different speeds. We've exposed to the inspector, so we can change those up, but by default, they're 5 and 8. Jump force is at 2, also exposed. These are just exposed so we can see them happening in the inspector or fix things. So I've got Booleans for is jumping and is grounded. Not like is not allowed to play Silksong, but like is on the ground. Different grounded than what Thomas is used to. On start, we get our rigid body, so we're assuming that there's a rigid body on here. And then an update, again, using input manager, we're looking for either the right shift or the left shift key. And if they're holding down shift, then character speed is equal to run speed. If they're not, then character speed is equal to walk speed. Pretty simple. But now we can run around instead of just walking, so that's cool. And then again, move input. We're going to get the input axis for horizontal, and then the input axis for vertical, and we're going to do 0 on the Y as far as horizontal and vertical movement. Then we will translate the character along the move input, whatever this vector is, times the character speed, whether that's walking or running, and then there's our time.delta time, which smooths out random frame rates. And then again, here in update, we're looking for input. So I'm looking for jump, and then I'm also looking for is the player on the ground right now? Because we don't want to do mid-air jumps. We're not going to do double jumps. We're not going to do Minecraft creative mode, jump indefinitely until you can't see anything. Just one jump. So we got a Boolean for is grounded. If they're on the ground and someone hit the button that corresponds with jump, then we just set a Boolean for is jumping true, because we don't want to play with physics, rigid bodies, things like that inside the update function, because we do that inside fixed update. So here we're checking for is grounded. If they're on the ground, then we set is jumping to true. Now in fixed update, if we say, hey, this person should be jumping, then we grab their rigid body, add force straight up, nothing on the X and the Z. And then this is a cool little addition. We're using force mode.impulse. There's different ways to add force. We're just using a quick burst, so we're using impulse, but there's lots of other stuff under here that we can do. And if we set is jumping, we set it back to false. Again, so that they can't just double jump really quick. Finally, we've got some on triggers. We're gonna have to add some extra stuff to our little capsule boy. So on trigger stay, and we're gonna put a trigger at his feet, a little footsie trigger. And if stuff stays inside of that trigger, then he's on the ground. We don't care what it was. We're not tagging it ground. We're like, is there something at his feet? Cool, he's on the ground. And then the minute we exit a collider, then they're not on the ground, so is grounded is false. So then when that's false, and even if I hit jump up here, this is false, so we're not going to set jumping to true. So this is a whole lot of Boolean logic to just say only jump once. So we've got that guy. This is on player movement. And I'm going to pop back to Unity before we do anything else, and we're just going to make sure that this script works. Again, iterative testing. Yeah, make sure and save the script, otherwise you didn't do anything. Unity doesn't know you did any typing. It's not watching until you hit save. All right, I'm going to look at my game window here, because my camera's just hovering. So, but I can see from the game window that the guy is in view. So I'm just going to go ahead and then I can move him around using WASD or the arrow keys, or right into my face. Oh, Yep. Okay, so there's another extra step we got to work on. All right, let's work on player. So I added rigid body, which was cool. But come down here to rigid body and open up this little constraints guy, and we're going to freeze the rotation on X and on Z so it doesn't tip over. All right. Now he's a weeble. He won't fall down. But we're going to allow him to rotate on Y. Really, we could check this as well because we're going to rotate on Y via script, not via collisions. But maybe we want to like be running so fast and like we clip the side of a platform and we're going to allow it to spin us because oof, that hurt. So I'm going to leave Y unchecked. So we're going to allow physics to spin us on the Y, but not the other stuff. The other thing we need to do is we need to add another trigger to this guy. So I'm going to frame in on him, hitting F. I'm going to add a box collider, which wraps all the way around him. I'm going to edit the collider here. So I'm going to pull this down so it's just his feet. Drag this so it's just under him as well. So we got a little box down here. And then I'm using the size guy down here in the box collider. I'm just going to set this to 0.5 on the X and the Z. So it's smaller. So it's not like too wide where like it doesn't quite make sense. Like my big clown shoes are on and my toe hit the platform and now I'm going to balance perfectly. So it just gets smaller. So we got this guy and then the last thing we need to do is set is trigger. So that part's done. He's pretty well set up. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my main camera and just drag him down onto the player so that it's a child of the player. Reset my transform on the main camera. So hit the little skinny snowman, reset. And then if I move this to like 0.75 on the Y in relation to the center of this guy, then we're kind of looking out like already looks like Among Us. Where we expect the eyes to be on a 2 meter tall humanoid-ish. Maybe you can pull that down to 0.7, 0.6. I'll make him as tall. Somewhere in there. And it's not going to render the backside of the capsule, so that's all cool. We could, on our player guy here, we could turn off the mesh renderer, but then we don't even have a shadow. So I'm going to leave that on, and we just got a goofy looking shadow for now. It's all cool. And then I need to put well, let's just test this first. And then I'm going to put something on the main camera, a script there. We've got our controller all set up. Great. There's nothing in my scene. How do I know that anything happened? I could walk off the edge, which I guess works, but like let's just add in some stuff really quick. Just for reference. Add a few objects. Here's another guy. Little capsule boy over here. Go so I can move around, jump. Even if I spam it, I don't double jump. Jump up on this guy. Hard to tell. So you notice that I don't have any rotation movement right now. Oof. Oh, I did spin a little bit. Oh, I'm still spinning. Fantastic. I hit that hard. I'm all woozy. All right. I kind of like it. We're going to leave it. We need a script on the camera. So I'm going to come down here in my scripts folder, create another new mono behavior script. Call it camera move. camera movement. Camera don't just stand there, whatever you want to call it. All right, and before I forget, I'm just going to go ahead and add this to the main camera. Drag it up on him. Now he's got the camera move script. Now we'll edit it. And by edit, I mean pirate from myself. Back to Visual Studio. Again, so I've got a private because it's untagged. Rotation on X. Serialized field means it's in the inspector. I've got mouse sensitivity. I've got a transform for the player, so I know where the player's at, and I can like move him as well via the mouse. We're all set up. So now an update. I'm looking for mouse movement. I'm getting the axis of mouse X times time.delta time times mouse sensitivity, which we'll probably play with a lot. I'm not sure why, but it does seem that like mouse sensitivity is different on different computers. So maybe it like sits on top of your Windows settings or whatever. But this button, if I tell everyone, hey, set it to 90, your games are all going to act a little bit different. So it's something we'll have to play with. So we're getting the mouse X, we're getting the mouse Y. Okay, all cool. We're going to rotate on the mouse Y. So we're taking the mouse Y, decreasing the rotation on X float by that amount. And then we are clamping that so we can't overdo it. So rotating on X for our player is basically looking, right? Or for the camera at least. But this clamp means I can't like spin my head all the way over backwards and look behind me. So I've got this set at 90. So I can look straight up. I can also look straight down, which isn't easy for some of us larger fellows, but we'll pretend it works in here. So you can change those to like maybe he can only look down like, I don't know, 60 degrees or something. But that's clamping our look on the mouse on X, and then we're transforming on those rotations. So this is just us setting up the number rotation on X. So first we get the mouse Y, and then we clamp it, and now we're moving the camera. Transform local Euler, excuse me. You know it's pronounced Euler? I want to say Euler every time I see it, but it's Euler. Yeah.
The first time I ever heard it was in bracket, and they said Euler. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I got to calculus, and I'm like,
Nope. Yeah. So that's the name of some mathematician guy who didn't know how to spell his name. I mean, it had a weird pronunciation. Yeah, he made some numbers. He was all cool now. So now we're transforming our camera by itself on the X. We're not moving the player. We're not like tilting forward. We're just looking down. Make sense? So that's on the camera itself. So we're not calling anything else, just transforms. We're on the camera. And then since we've got a player that we are going to set up in the inspector, we know who that is. With that, we can rotate the player vector 3 up, mouse X. So this is going to rotate the guy. Make sense? Sort of. Again, smile and nod. It's all good. Yeah, look at this. Brady gets it. He just gets it. All right. Control S to save. Back to Unity. I said back to Unity. He doesn't want to go back to Unity. Cool. It's compiling, and it doesn't even want to play. There we go. No. Go back to Unity. Thank you. I don't have anger issues. You do. Main camera is on our camera, which is part of player. He just needs to know who player is. So I'm just going to say, here it is right here. Drag that in. This should be all set up. We're going to test it. If it works, then we're going to save it as a prefab. All right, I can look around, can look down. Yeah, looking 90 degrees down is kind of weird. Yes, that's our next step. And 90 doesn't appear to be like, look at how far I'm having to move the mouse. The mouse is moving way farther than my actual look. So, ugh. Okay, so let's do a couple things here. I'm going to, since it's different all the way around, I'm going to double my mouse sensitivity. I'll put, 200. Why not? Feeling generous. And see if I can remember the stuffs. What sheet? Borrow. Things you don't want to destroy on load. Yeah, that happens by default. We're going to get into some stuff about don't destroy on load later. Yeah. Fine, give me cookies. Right, I'm just looking for. All right, so this is what you're looking for, Maya. This is what we're all looking for, really. We want to lock the cursor, right? Make that mouse go away. So I'm here in the Unity documentation. This says for Unity 6.2. Let me just make sure. One thing I love about the Unity documentation online is it's like, maybe they changed it. Let me look around. There's a 6.3 alpha. Who knew? Not me. So if you want to see if they changed it for the 6.3 alpha, you can go there. But this is Unity 6. That's where we're at. And cursor, lock state, cursor mode locked. Sounds redundant, but we're going to roll with it. It worked? Yeah. So I'm going to do this on. Well, yeah, but I've just got it hooked to your student account, so it's all good. Yeah, microtransactions don't bother me. Pay no attention to your charges. I'm going to do this in Awake. Try that. Awake happens first. So start happens right after, right as it should be. It should say it in one of our deals here. First frame, right before the first frame. Awake happens a little bit sooner while it's still trying to compile everything. So this might be too soon. I'm not sure, but we're going to try it in Awake. I'm going to set my lock state, cursor lock mode to locked. We'll save that guy. We'll see if this just goes away. The other thing we're testing here is I did, in fact, change my mouse sensitivity. Okay, but if I click once, then the mouse goes away. But it's not going away right away. And because I didn't set it. Cast shadows on. Why are you distracting me over here? Just stop. This guy's lit. What is happening? You're a meme. All right, I'm gonna try one little thing with this script before I make a prefab out of it. So I'm gonna change this to start. And see if that happens. And there's another one. Go to wake, start. No, I'm thinking a late update, but I don't know if there's one that's after one time after start. Yeah. So there was in iOS, if you're building stuff for iPhones, the life cycle is insane. Like will appear, did appear, might appear. No, that one's not real, but I swore it could. There's a whole like chain of like this happens and then this happens. It was kind of cool. All right, so I'm gonna change that. I changed start. I think I saved it. No, still. All right, we're just gonna go with it. So either start or awake. If I click once, it goes away. Is anyone else just starting without the mouse at all?
That was how it was in the first person controller from the last game.
Okay. All right, so we're all good. All right, so I'm going to rename this guy just in case. So just so we know what it is, this is the DET basic. Why you got to go victim right away? Why you just anyway? New folder. I'm going to create a new folder for underscore capital P prefabs. I'm going to drag this guy in here, and so this is all set up now with, if I go to prefab mode, there's my capsule boy, my shadow settings, player movements. If I made changes to walk and run speed, and that's now part of the prefab, the main camera knows about stuff. And my preferred mouse sensitivity on this machine today, 200. So that's all part of the prefab now, and I can use him in other levels. Cool. All right, I'm going to get rid of this guy and this guy. We're going to get to the real meat of today's stuff, which is ProBuilder. So ProBuilder is a cool little tool. I'm going to go to Windows here, Package Manager. Yep. And in the Unity registry, I'm going to search for ProBuilder. If I type in Pro, there it is, ProBuilder 6. We're going to install this guy. Who's heard the word previs before? No? Pre-visualization? About gray boxing, white boxing? You've heard of that? Yes, fighting gray people. Gray boxing.
I think we did what I did and accidentally launched the project in the wrong Unity version, so you'll just have to update it later.
Yeah. Well, we want to stay in 6 this semester. So if you're not in Unity 6, then I don't know you're going to get weird stuff. Yeah, this is the newest. It works in Unity 6. You can look at other versions, right? Looks like only 606 and 607 work here. So if you've got 5, you're probably in like Unity 2022, something. So we've got that installed. We've got a couple of extra buttons here, but I'm gonna go back to our Canvas page real quick, and we're gonna check out some stuff there. So ProBuilder is for prototyping. Yeah, so I can block out. This is something I did, I don't know, a couple of years ago using ProBuilder. So the previs, not a made-up term. Ha! Take that, Xander. This is, yeah, invaluable process in the cinematic pipeline that allows you to quickly see how a 3D scene will look before animation filming or asset production begins. This gives the creative director freedom to rapidly iterate ideas. So here's the deal. What is the longest thing to do when you're making a game? The art. 5 points to Gryffindor. Yes, the art. So we're just going to make up stuff, and you can be like, yeah, I made this cool column and a nice door for you. Here you go. But it doesn't fit. My character's 2 meters tall. You made it like life size, so I can't even fit through the door, right? So We've got scale problems. We're going to adjust everything. When we gray box or white box, or I don't know what the preferred term is now, monochromatic box maybe. Uh, then yeah, I think monochromatic box is the politically correct term. So then I can make all these shapes really quickly, drop my player in, figure out the sizes and scales and shapes of everything. Not only does the player fit through the door, but does this piece of geometry here even make sense? Or is it blocking the view that we need? Or do we need something there to hide behind, right? So this is laying out a level before we ever tell the artist what we need. You really, really, if you're working on an actual no kidding project, not a 1 week, oh my gosh, I gotta get my homework done project, you're gonna want to gray box pretty much the whole level out before you start going crazy in Blender or whatever you're using for 3D. So if you're just that good, which means you've probably been on a lot of projects before and understand all the things you're about to break.
It's like making a full painting without sketching it out first.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Right. So this is sketching it out. This is the pencil lines that we're going to fill in and maybe like ink over later. That's what this is.
I don't think you were alive for
Xander's hallucinating. All right. So here's some documentation on ProBuilder. This link that I borrowed the this description from is from a previs lesson on learn.unity. So this is what we're going to follow first. This is a Brackeys tutorial on ProBuilder. It looks like this. So it's like ProBuilder, I want to say 3. It's a while ago. And we had all these tools. We got to ProBuilder, whatever this is, 4, 5 maybe. And it looked like this. Now, they've hidden it. Where's ProBuilder at? We don't know. I get if I go up here to tools, now that I've got it installed, I can get some stuff. But what they've done is they've taken the ProBuilder stuff and they've tried to like sneak it in around everything else. So here, Create Cube is a ProBuilder button. So I'm going to create cube, and if I drag out here, I drag out the base, I drag up. Not only do I have a cube, it textures it with this really cool like thing. Yeah, right? So now I think I accidentally cloned it. So we just made a cube. Now, yeah, we've got this guy here. Why is this on? Go away. Somewhere. I can change the sizes here. Let me show you something that I definitely find helpful when I'm doing this. So I'm going to go up here to Tools, ProBuilder. It's one of these guys. Why is everything hidden? There it is. Dimensions overlay. Show. Look at this. Now I can see right off the bat. This is 9.37 meters wide, 6.48. Yeah, like you can use a lot of cool stuff, right? Let's look at the next crazy thing we can do. So if I hit, now that I've got a ProBuilder object, if I hit this grid up top, then I've got access to vertices, edges, and faces up here. So I'm going to grab this edge right here, pull that up. Yeah, it's like 3D modeling kind of almost a little bit. Yeah, you've got to hit it first. Hit the grid.
Are you able to import ProBuilder stuff into Blender so artists can like remodel it?
Yeah. So that's the thing. Yes, we could do that. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, I can extrude. So let's play with that. So I can extrude a face. Yeah. This is not replacing Blender, but it's kind of cool. Attach the face, select the face, duplicate, extrude it again. So I'm going to pull this guy over. I have no idea what I'm creating here. So the tools are in and around the scene now. instead of that big weird panel of funky colored buttons. But they're all here. So those exist. You can make lots of different things. I'm going to come down here. It's set on cube, but if I long click this little arrow guy, I can create prisms, stairs, pipes, arches, doors. Stairs are fun. Stairs are super useful.
I love it.
Drag out a base, drag it up, and then we've even got settings here. So however big I made this, it doesn't matter. I can say you've got 10 stairs automatically, or I can change this to height. And so each stair is 0.2 high, or I can change this to each stair is 0.1 high, bunch of tiny little stairs. And again, these are all meters, 0.25. I don't even know. This homogeneous, if I turn this off, is this going to give random heights to the stairs? Yeah.
Oh, and I think that the top part isn't.
Yes. Yeah. If I turn that off, then it legit just keeps it. Or, oh, I think, yeah, homogeneous means, there it is, that the height and the depth of the stairs stay the same. If you turn it off, then you might get some really steep stairs or whatever. All right, let's play with even more tools here. Who needs a spiral staircase? I literally want this tool in Blender, right? Just this part. Just this part. Yeah. And again, I can come up here. So I've got my little tools. Can edit the shape. Pulls up this guy again. If I hit this, then I can go back to changing the faces and vertices and edges. What's this guy? Setting things to hidden, whether or not it's got an edge or a face. There's another one here. I'm just going to make a new shape. Let's just get out of that. I'm going to do a new shape here. Let's do a cylinder. Let's make a little column over here. Pull that up. So there are smoothing settings. So like auto smooth in Blender. So it's going to try and smooth it out. I can change the count here. 13 sides flat. Height cuts. This automatically puts in a bunch of edge loops along there. So the idea is to be quick and simple and block out your basic shapes for your level. Yeah, I want to make a cube that's 1.5 meters high so that my character's got to crouch down for cover. Then, I've got this thing here to say how tall it is. Everything's all set up. There are ways to export them. Find that guy. So I can export it as an OBJ, probably is the best way to do it. Asset, I think, just means it's still like a Unity asset. OBJ is the best thing if I'm like, hey, this is the exact size and shape of the doorway, but like I've got this plain thing. Add a bunch of cool geometry to it. I export the OBJ. I hand it off to the artist. I don't know why you're the artist this week, but congrats. And then he adds a bunch of stuff to it. Oh, this one's fun. Create poly shape. Poly shape is fun. Let's do this. I'm just going to la 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 la. Here we go. So kind of like starting with a spline or a line in Blender, I could draw out an outline and then extrude it up. Yeah, that's Minecraft Texas right there. We can change. Somewhere in here we can change colors, make each object a little bit different. It's fun. All right. So we want to block out a nice enclosed level. We're not playing with terrains. We could even have just made our plane be a ProBuilder shape. So let's get rid of this guy. Heck that guy. You can make a plane. I'm just going to go ahead and make a cube with like little to no height. 0.1, just a little bit of depth. And what was the other one? Like 200? We'll do 200 by 200 here. So now I've got a floor. I didn't hit enter. All right, we'll do it again. 200. Using the type ins. 0.1. 200. And then just click off of that somewhere. There we go. All right. Move him around. He's still got all of his stuff, so I'm going to reset his origin to 0, which is centered, not like the blessed terrain where it starts in the corner. Got a nice centered point. Negative 0.1 divided by 2. There we go. Yeah, you can math in these things. Very fun. So now that's exactly underneath, and my 0.1 depth is going down from 0. So we've got our whole thing. Make a cool level, right? Imagine, pretend, believe me that when I say in the future, maybe not this week, but in weeks to come, we're going to make a whole first-person shooter level out of this. And so design a level. I'll pull up a completely ridiculous, insane level that I built in ProBuilder before. Let's save this. Pop over here. So the tools are different, but try to follow along with this Brackeys video here, and you're basically going to be making a level from the Valve game. Yeah. Before that. Anyway, Team Fortress, maybe, I don't know. So this is a level that he's basically copied from a Valve game. He does it up really quick in ProBuilder. Make this level. This is our first level. Okay, this is just a level that you're going to follow along with the instructions. Remember that things are different. The tools, the buttons are moved, but all the stuff still works. So make this level as a level, and then you're going to make your second level as whatever the heck, right? Something nice and complex. As soon as I can remember how to do it, we'll show you how to color different objects and faces. So instead of having this cool grid thing on everything, I can have this cool grid thing, but in magenta or blue, like a missing texture grid. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a thing. So edit, preferences. Now that we've got it installed, we should have where's it at? ProBuilder right there. This guy? So by default, we get the grid thing. If you just want your entire level to be that nasty wood grain that we made back in Intro to 3D Modeling, then you just drag that in here, and all of your objects will default to nasty wood grain. Yeah, we like the grid. The grid tells us we're at a prototype. Yeah, it does cool stuff. As long as you didn't scale it, everything should be kind of nice.
It literally says 1 meter.
So that's a meter. Problem solved. The what? The what? Yeah. Halves, quarters. We can guess somewhere in the middle there. Yeah. So, yes, I absolutely prefer the American tradition of saying, no, we're not going to use the metric system. We're going to use the system based on the English King's Foot that we, by the way, rebelled against and threw all his tea in the hava. But we're going to keep his foot around for sure because we do what we want.
Like I know it's so it's impractical to try and change the metric system here, but at the same time, it'd be something better.
Yeah, no, for real.
I mean, yeah, and, anyone, I don't think I've ever met an American who count by 5,280.
So we have like a size 12.
Like we just
That's probably a good size too, right?
What just happened? That's allegedly a door. I think I broke something.
No, one time sometimes
Yeah, no. No. All right. Save this. Okay, let's go check out our. Here's the thing. By golly, you may watch this before you watch the Brackies video. Okay, this video is by, I think, is by one of the guys who just made ProBuilder. By the way, this is another company that just was making a cool tool for Unity, and Unity said, "Here's a bunch of money. We own you now." There are days I would sell out. I mean, there are. Especially if it's something I wasn't that attached to. So this like 14-minute video is going to explain the differences between ProBuilder 5 and 6. Basically, he's going to talk about where'd all the dang buttons go. So watch that probably before you even start the Brackies video. I should have moved that around. But where's all the buttons, man? We're going to do some... So we're going to make the Brackies level. We did our first person controller. Then we'll build the second level. Whoa, the mouse just died again. Fantastic. I love that format. And then we're going to add some weapon pickups and some stuff. And maybe even we'll get around to shooting stuff. But the main point of this week, besides build your own first person controller twice, is playing with ProBuilder and gray boxing. So make a level that not only looks cool, but like run around it. Be like, oh yeah, this is playable. Oh no, that ledge is too high. Let me go change it. Easy enough to do with ProBuilder. So that's what we're working on. I'm going to let the video keep going. I'm going to try and drag something in here. So I've got a ProBuilder level that I created in ProBuilder, I guess, obviously. But I'm going to see if I can drag in here in ProBuilder 6 will just let me look at it. Or maybe I should just open up the other project. We'll just do that. Just to give you an idea of what ProBuilder can do, you can go like Blender level modeling. You can be insane and make the whole thing in ProBuilder. It's not the idea. The point is to block out the basic shapes and then do the art somewhere else. But if you just get in the zone and like your Vyvanse or your Adderall or whatever is just like humming. Huh? No, that was talking to me. Fine. Everything's good. We're friends.
Can I get extra credit if I make the entirety of Dark Souls 1?
Where do you find all this time?
Yeah, right?
I don't.
You do sleep,
But
right?
it could be fun, like a little crack.
Well, this is going to suck because I've got to use the trackpad. They don't have a USB-C charger. USB-C charger for? Not really. That's fine. Oh, it's back. Nope, it's not. It was like it lit up and then said, "No, I'm dead again." All right, I'll take it. Thank you, sir. You're a hero. Generations to come will talk about your generosity. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. This one's hopefully it all still works. It's all ProBuilder. Oh. Okay, that part isn't. Oh, that's a bad robot. He's trying to get me. You can see the level, like you can see the little goofy grid on everything. I just colored some faces. I've got spatial audio in here, so like if I go back in here, then I don't hear the sounds from the. That's the doors opening and closing, but I didn't do that. Ah! Leave me alone. But yeah, you can see space has been lost. Yeah. Oh, this one's fun. This is the skybox. I've got a camera outside the ship moving toward the skybox, and it's projecting it here on the screen. I absolutely cheated. Then it goes backwards, does it again. No, you can't even tell. I cheated. I mean, smoke and mirrors. That's what it is. But yeah, so if you want to get complex shapes, you can. You can do absolutely dumb stuff. You want to do a 1 meter textured Dark Souls? Don't sleep. I guess that's your deal. Working lame. We're gonna leave it at that for now, and we'll look at pickups that actually go into the player's hands Thursday, whatever the next day is. Yeah. Cool.